So, but first, let me introduce our next resource person. So, Dr. Tan is a lecturer in uh, Faculty of Biology in University of Science, Vietnam National University. So, Dr. Tan is a graduate of PhD in Kuchi University, Japan, under uh, the supervisor is Dr. Kinoshita. Yeah, I remember. So, Dr. Tan will be discussing um, larval and juvenile fish assemblage in the estuary of northern Vietnam. So, Dr. Tan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rinan. Hi, everyone. Dr. Alin. And let me introduce again and I share my presentation. Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay. Yes, again, let me introduce again. I graduated from Kochi University as Rinan Sang University and also Alin Sang. And my research now focusing on early stage of fish. I mean egg, larvae, and juveniles in their natural environment of estuary and coast. And today I will give you a short results from my countries with title and title. Larva and juvenile fish assemblage in estuary of North Vietnam. Before you see my result, I will show you my country. Okay, Vietnam here and Philippines here. So now this I will show the results from the Gao Thông team. Yeah, this one. And now I will say some now nature. Why this study is important? So now nutrients of larva and juvenile fish community structure is an important step in the successful conservation and management effort with fish research of both the regional and global scale. And additionally, larva and juvenile communities vary markedly not only estuary to estuaries, but also among the region or climatic zones. Therefore, we need the information for a wide variety of size. So as you see in the chart, my recently site is North Vietnam, and also North Vietnam is located in trophic zone, northern Tropic of Cancer. However, Scotland phytofauna harbors some characteristics which resemble a temperate one. Okay. Then, for example, many previous words report some temperate species such as Ayu in Japan. Okay. Ayu or Suzuki, no, some species that only distributed in Japan before was recorded in North Vietnam. And in both my study of sea bream or their spawning season, okay, they are separate in the temperate water of Japan. For example, Acanthobacter rulatus, they occur in October to February, and Acanthobacter scalis, sea bream, black sea bream, they occur during the period of April to July. However, in Vietnam, they share the same season from the December to April. And my supervisor, he said, the coastal fauna of Vietnam, of northern Vietnam, resemble rather temperate one and can display transitional biodiversity from tropical to temperate waters. Then I try my best to validate this statement using the research and the results of larval and juvenile assemblage of the Dinh Yên estuary of northern Vietnam. And my sampling was conducted monthly and semi-monthly for the long duration in the estuary and junctions subzones. And fish fauna was collected in both shallow water and in central current using these methods. In the shallow water, we use a seine very small net to get the lava and the fly. And in central, we use a lava net, okay, to get the sample from the center of the current. And the water temperature, such as temperately or salinity, we measure at each station. So from the samples, I got some results. As for the first one, for the species composition. The species composition, I found more than 77 species from 29 families. And very important, the assemblage was occupied by larvae and the belonging chiefly Hobiidae, the red one. And the larva and the community of Dinh Yên estuary or the estuary of northern Vietnam composed of not only tropic but also temperate or subtropical species. So this point is really important. And the species, they record or occurs in the temperate or subtropical zones. However, we can find it in the north, in the estuary of North Vietnam. This finding indicates regardless it is a location of tropical zones, the Dinh Yên estuary could be stable habitat for several temperate and subtropical fish, even in early stage. And how can early state of temperate and subtropical species could appear in tropical estuaries? This is a seasonal occurrence. Okay. In this slide shows monthly change, of temperatures and the number of species are recorded in the study area of North Vietnam estuary. Here I indicate the mean range of the temperatures. And larvae and zoophili occurs more abundantly in the rainy season. Rainy season means from the April to October, and dry season from the November to March. So the larvae and zoophili occur more abundant in rainy season than dry season. And the early state of temperate species or subtropical species concentrated around the month when the temperatures is the temperate species they occurs. So as you see, this is a cool current. So to explain this phenomena, I try to find some information. And you see in this chart, there is a current current, the current current by blue line, broken line. The current probably from the yellow seas. These current currents follow counterclockwise here, along the North Vietnamese coast. By reactions of Kuroshio current, the red one, this current current is more developed And the current cause of water temperature is not so high in North Vietnam, in spite of lower than tropical cancer. That's called Vietnam is good is a suitable habitat for some temperate or subtropical fish in both adult and early stage. And probably this current will bring early stage of some temperate or subtropical species from high latitude area to the North Vietnamese coast. Okay. And in spatial distribution, okay, I test the occurrence of 50 species. Okay, species at each station from station 1 in near the sea in the coast, and station 8 is near fresh water. Okay. Spatialist distinct ecologically ecological difference was recognized in habitat among species. Okay. Some colonize in how to say this one. Some colonize in the water along the estuary and extended from the subzone, okay, station subzone to near fresh water. Is the head of estuary, and many of them belong to how to say Cyprinidae or even Bovidae. Okay. And the analysis indicate the salinity is a dominant factor influencing spatial distribution, with temperatures also having the major influence of occurrences of lava and supply. So I think this is a really common phenomenon. Salinity is really dominant factor influencing the spatial distribution. However, the temperatures also having the major influence of the seasonal occurrence. So I just show you the result from North Vietnam. So now I have to point out the characteristic of lava and supply community in North Vietnam. I compare the ichthyofauna between Vietnam and two regions in Japan, because Japan is temperate water, right? So I try to compare between the trophic and temperate zones. Here is a Simanto estuary and Yabe estuary. They in North Japan. So between the Vietnam and Japan's, in general, physical parameter water waters is lowest in Yabe estuary, this one, okay, in Kyushu Island. However, the salinity phenomena was almost similar among trees water, and turbidity is how to say the water much turbid in Yabe estuary. And this will be so the result in fish, in lava and fish community. Okay, here this result shows a community with the diversity of species recognition and their abundance in both Vietnam and Japanese water. And most of them was how to say marines and Yuri highlights. And it suggests a common phenomena by different oceanography that the estuary play an important role at natural route and support the diversity of species and abundant fish. However, in the term of family compositions, you can see here the red one is Gobiidae. Okay, so Gobiidae was the most dominant in both the term of abundance and species diversity in the own tree estuary. Okay. So So from the many knowledge, I can have some conclusion. Yes, short conclusion. From the freshwater to marines, fish communities in the early stage of each environment was dominated by one or some group. Okay. For example, in the river, in freshwater is dominated by sea brinidae. However, in estuary is goby and Angloidae or Clubidae in the coastal. And mesobenathic fish, for example, Mactophidae, deep sea water. Right? And so the dominance of lava and zoophytes of goby, for example, the goby estuary is common in the Indo-Pacific region. So it can be distinguished between estuary or two other biotopes. Also, the other group also can distinct and very important when we got like and we link between the whole of environment and the community of organism. As a characters, when we say about this community in early stage is early stage, so we mentioned that the size and their development stage. Okay. Early stage of fish was commonly divided. I not say about the egg. Okay, was commonly divided into 5 stages. I mean the 4 stage of larva. Okay, and 1 stage of juveniles. Based on the visible of Yorkshire or flexion of the notochord, or the development of the fin ray and squamation. Okay, and after that I compare the cell size and development state between 3 estuary to find the different and similar the characteristic between the region of climatic zones. Okay. When the state of fish was a common, how to say this paragraph. So the size and development of 5 dominant species occur in the center of the current between 3 estuary, and the corner of the bar from the white to black indicate development stage from pre-flexion with Yorkshire to July stage. So you can see the fish in Indian estuary and Simanto estuary is very similar. However, in Yabe estuary is much different from the 2 estuary. Even Yabe and Simanto estuary very close. Okay, they belong to Vietnam. No, they belong to Japan. And in how to say in bank water or shallow water, similar phenomena or similar development stage and site composition of dominant species also observed between Indian and Simanto estuary. So with about result in species composition, in size composition, I can summarize as lava and juvenile fish communities of Vietnam estuary is resembles Simanto rather than Ariake. Even the Simanto and Ariake is very closely in geographic. And to how to say I try to explain this phenomena. Okay. Also I use this because there's some possible explanation for my observations. The first one is much different in the Yabe estuary. Right? Maybe due to the unique faunas of this base. Because many previous study reported that Ariake Bay harbors several species. This one, several species. Okay, many species quick pathogenic to popular from the Asian continentals, or has speciated independently, adapting to an environment similar to that one of the coast of China and Korea. However, on the other hand, North Vietnam, okay, North Vietnam, um, the water temperature is not so higher than South Japan. Then fish community was composed of not only tropic but also subtropical and temperate water. Furthermore, the water in Simanto River, because Simanto rivers very near the Kuroshio currents, right? So the ichthyology of Simanto estuary not only is a temperate, but Kuroshio current can transport early stage non-indigenous species, just for in tropic or subtropical region to this estuary by the Kuroshio current. Okay. Based on given comparisons, I can conclude that the estuary play an important role at nurseries and support a diversity for species and abundant fish. And estuarine, lava, and jewfly fish communities would generally show not only some common phenomena, but also characteristic depending on the water environment and the local ichthyofaunas as different waters. And the lava and jewfly community of North Vietnam estuary characterized, in summary, they characterized by the occurrence of the temperate and subtropical species in spite of locating in a tropical zones. And occurrence of given species is concentrated about the month when the temperature is lowest in the years. Yes, thank you. That's my short results. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tan, for that very interesting presentation. So, any question from the group, in the class? Hmm? How about Doc Aline? You have a question?
Hello, Tran. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Um, just based from what I just heard a bit, since I'm also now doing another meeting on the other side of my laptop. A very interesting study comparing different regions from tropical to temperate areas, and um, from your result, sorry if I would like to ask, I didn't hear how did you collect the samples? Did you do the plankton survey, right?
Yes. I
Yes, yeah. So the survey was, but it's limited in minimum depth.
No, we guess the sample from the shallow water and also the center of the currents. So we
So
can
like
guess.
there's no range like 0 to 200 meter depth of flowing.
No, because we connected in the estuaries.
Estuary.
Estuary.
Yes, estuary.
Not deep sea water.
Yeah, yes. Okay, I understand. So, from what I've observed earlier, the most abundant family of larvae and juveniles are Gobidae. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes.
So most of them are um, the, the, the tropical juvenile larvae are most abundant in seasons wherein there's also let's say tropical season, the temperature is high.
the temperatures in Vietnam in the winter is not so high. Sometimes
Yes.
only 15 degrees
Mm.
Celsius.
So when there was a mixture of cold water from the Yellow Sea, there was also some species of juveniles that can be similar to the temperate areas, right?
Yes.
Okay. So is this estuary very how to say does it has a so based on your data from observation, can we conclude that it's a really mixed composition or assemblages of juvenile according to season? Like
Pardon.
what I mean is like in a year we can really find different species or family of juveniles depending on temperatures.
Depend on temperatures, commonly is because the early stage, the occurrence of the early stage or the larva and juvenile will really have a strong relationship with how to say spawning season. And
Mm,
many species they have a one hypothesis. Many species they can, for example, the IU, right?
mm,
IU. They can occur in Vietnam and they can only sport in the how to say in the winter.
mm,
And the other ones, not only in Vietnam but also in the other region, even Philippines or Japan's or Australia's. They usually they will divide the spawning season or the occurrence of early state into the season, the winter season. Okay? So they can divide two groups, for example, rainy season and the dry season.
dry
All the
season.
other ways they will divide them into four season: winter, summer,
Mm,
autumn, and spring. And also common. So I think we can use temperatures as a one
mm.
important part to divide the group of early stage and get some character for that group.
Okay, so another last, this is not really a question, but I just want to confirm my the way I understand your study. Um, the aside from temperature, the composition or the assemblage also of the larvae and the juvenile in the estuary, for example, in Vietnam, is due also to the current. Is this correct?
Right? The how to say assemblage, the fish assemblage of early stage, they will commonly they will depend on the first one is the locals Ethiofauna, and the other one the how to say the oceanograph ocean current.
Oceanography.
So
Sorry.
they can bring
Mm-mm.
the egg or early stage of
Mm.
other species from other region bring to the mentioned area. However,
Mm.
they can survive or not is
Mm.
because
Yes,
we have to miss other study.
yes, yes. But that's a good result from the study. Thank you. That's all, I guess, for me.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Dr. Tan, so your study suggests that there is already a tropicalization that is happening because of the composition of the fish found in Japan and in Vietnam are quite similar. So this result of yours suggests that although it can it suggests, but I think there's still further studies that
Yes,
requires. But for a start, this is a very good findings. This could be form a baseline for that concept of tropicalization. Now, although we read lots of paper about tropicalization in coral reef, corals, but seldom and very few on fishes, on tropicalization. So this study suggests that indeed, even in fishes, tropicalization is already happening, as we can say that the climate change, which could be a one factor that trigger this kind of phenomenon.
Yes. Now many study many states they will linked to climate change also, and some species. I think only in Vietnam or somewhere not Vietnam. However, when I collect the sample in South Vietnam, I saw very few species temperate, even not temperate species I cannot found. I only found some species of subtropical. And also many species can study to indicate climate change. For example, sea bream. Okay, sea bream the occurrence or their seasonal occurrence will depend on temperature. Also in my PhD thesis, because for example in the temperate water, for example Japan or Australia, they can occur. Here I say about the all species, the family levels. The species of Sparidae, okay,
Yes,
zebra,
pagrus.
they can occur or they can sport around a year. But in our region, for example, I think in the Philippines also the similar to Vietnam. In the how to say the tropic regions, the sea bream will be sport in only one season, and that season is have the temperature is lowest in a year.
I see.
This party day. Or the other one, for example, maybe Singularity Day, or Whiting, or Larry Day, also have some, how to say, not similar the phenomenon, but opposite, how to say, opposite or converse direction to Spari Day.
I see.
They depend on temperatures.
So it's the temperature determining factor for the spawning.
Yes.
Okay, so from the class, any question? Okay, I think they're shy. Okay, again, thank you very much, Dr. Dan, for sharing your work. It's our pleasure that we've learned a lot from your work. So, um, if you're busy, so
Okay.
it's okay.
Because now
You
I
can.
also in the other meeting, offline meeting.
Ah,
Okay.
yes. So it's okay, Dr. Tan. It's okay. You may leave if you want. Okay. Again, thank you very much for
Okay, thank you
sharing your.
very much for the invitation, Dr. Rina. And see you, Rina Sang, Ali Sang, and everybody. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it's nice to see you
Thank
again.
you also, Tran. Nice to see you virtually.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. Yes. So we're done with the two foreign researcher. So the third discussant will be Dr. Aline Duvin Pantaliano from Mindanao State University, College of Aquatic Science and Fisheries. So Dr. Aline also graduated in Kochi University. Actually, Dr. Aline and I belong to the same supervisor back during our doctoral study. So, pareho kaming field, fish ecology, under Dr. Yohin Nakamura. Okay? So, Dr. Aline, the floor is now yours. So, Dr. Aline, by the way, will be discussing habitat use pattern of commercially imported fishes using acoustic telemetry, which is a tool for designing marine protected areas in the Philippines. So, Dr. Aline?